G'day guys, it's Khalid here from Only Estate Agents. Thanks for watching again. We are just talking about the market and what's happened over the winter period coming into spring. A lot of agents, a lot of homeowners and a lot of sellers that we've spoken to have said, oh, you've had a massive strong winter, what's going to happen with spring? I just wanted to touch on that because a lot of people have that perception, yes, we had a strong winter, but if we look at year-on-year figures, we had 830 properties go to auction last year, and last year, comparison to this year's last weekend, was 836. Now, in terms of clearance rates, we're looking at like 73.5% for just this weekend gone, but year on year, this weekend last year, we had 72.3%. So in terms of the clearance rates, the amount of properties going to market, there isn't really much of a differentiation. What the biggest factor was this year was the increase in property values. So the same amount of properties went to market, or very similar, and a very similar clearance rate, but the values of those properties were quite significantly high in many parts of Melbourne. So what I'm trying to say here today is that, yes, we can say that we've had a good winter, but it hasn't been extremely great or over the top that we're saying, you know, we had double the amount of properties go to market, we had double the amount of properties sell, because it wasn't quite that way. I think we've got still quite a good momentum period to go on towards spring. So in terms of the spring coming up, all the time they say in real estate, okay, spring is your peak of your market, this is what's going to happen. The Reserve Bank today put everything on hold in terms of interest rates at 1.5% as a cash rate. So that basically means that there isn't really any change in the marketplace about what is happening with finances and refinancing and so forth. But I did read an article here on CoreLogic RP Data. They basically said that there is a lot less loans that are now approved and taken out that are actually interest only. So there's not many people getting interest only loans. The banks are not really issuing as many. They like to do a lot of principal and interest. Obviously, they're looking at risk factors, how much risk factor that they're putting out there in terms of clients that they're giving finance and funding to. At the end of the day, they really want to reduce risk at the end of the day because they probably know a little bit more than what we do. But in terms of saying that, you know, the market's about to change and it's going to drop out and everything else, looking at figures and looking at what's happening with the marketplace, look, we do last weekend directly from my office, and some of the agents that I've spoken to in the southeast have said, you know, Khalid, it feels like it's a little bit softening off, and some of the guys in the office are saying, look, we're getting a lot less numbers for our opens. Ultimately, I don't think it's a big of a change that we have to worry or concern about, because I think a lot of the buyers are becoming more wary about what they can spend, how much they can spend, and with the banks saying, you know, you have to pay principal and interest, that reduces their ability to obviously borrow towards a property, whereas it used to be interest only and they had a higher borrowing capacity. So the assessments are a bit different, and I guess if there is a property that goes to market under 600,000, then everyone wants to get into that property. Everyone wants to buy. Investors, first homeowners, second homeowners that are looking in the marketplace for another property. Maybe they're downsizing, or even in some cases where they're coming out of a unit or townhouse and they want to upsize. They're in some of those brackets in the southeast. It's very hard to obviously get properties under that 600 range because a lot of them are going and exceeding $600,000. But ultimately, there is a good demand still out there. I don't think it's softened off too much to worry about in terms of market prices. I think the prices on properties that are put on have to be pretty spot on. I would say you can't just go out there and just wave a magic wand and say, look, I'm going to get you 300 grand over the asking price because there's 5,000 people looking for a property. That's definitely not a case at all. At the start of the year, there was a lot of, you know, of results that we achieved, a lot of agents achieved in the market along Melbourne that achieved some pretty astronomical results, pretty high-end results. But I would say, guys, there's nothing to worry about. Into spring, we're going to get some serious activity happening. The warmer weather's coming, the longer days, and the gardens are all blooming, so it's a great time to put it onto the market. If you're really worried about, like my last video, about what the market's doing or going to do, don't base your life decisions on that, because you always end up wondering, and then the time that you think is right is too late, because that's when it's starting to drop. So guys, that's my 2 cents worth. Thanks for watching. It's Khalid Sarwari. If you need any assistance with any real estate needs or anything else of that nature, feel free to contact me on my mobile 0422 406 745 or drop me a line on my Facebook page. Thanks guys for watching. Cheers.